Please welcome to the stage Hilton Humanitarian Prize Senior Director, Maggie Miller.
Good morning, everyone. Please continue to file in because we're going to start on time. So good morning and welcome to the 2023 Hilton Humanitarian Prize Symposium. We made it! I would like to start by thanking a few individuals and hopefully provide some very brief context for the day. First and foremost, I would like to thank Hannah Mora, Saiba Ulrich, Brianne Bill, and Sheann Avery, my colleagues in the prize department. Thank you for getting us to this moment. For the logistics, yes, but also for the thought partnership, the strategy, and the deep intention you helped all of us set for today. I would also like to thank our board of directors, along with our president and CEO, for making today possible. And lastly, I'd like to offer a very warm welcome to our prize jurors who are with us to help celebrate One Acre Fund this afternoon. We are all in for a very special day. The Hilton Humanitarian Prize is presented each year to a nonprofit organization, both to focus attention on the great need for humanitarian aid worldwide, and to showcase nonprofit organizations doing work from which we can and should all learn. This is work rooted in communities across our globe, not only among our exceptional prize laureates, but among the speakers who are about to step on this stage. And that is why we are all here today. Because the roots of resilience, our theme for today, surround all of us. And there are pathways forward for humanity, even in the most complex crises. The intention today is to dig into some of these issues, and they are complex. We plan to do so not only through data and policy discussions, but also by accessing other parts of our brains and, dare I say, our humanity, through the power of music and poetry. With that, I now have the great pleasure of introducing a spectacular individual who happens to serve as vice chair of our board. This is an individual who cares greatly about the program today and who we are delighted to have with us. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Vice Chair of the Board of Directors, Linda Hilton.
Thank you, Maggie. And I'm going to repeat a few thank yous, so forgive me because they are warranted today. In 1996, the foundation created the prize as a tribute to my grandfather's lifetime of international humanitarian efforts. Every year, this award is presented to a nonprofit organization judged to have made exemplary and extraordinary contribution towards alleviating human suffering. Believe it or not, it's nicknamed the Nobel for Nonprofits. The prize has for 28 years now helped further fuel the success of exceptional nonprofits. We are immensely proud of the history of our work to date and to be associated with such tremendous laureate organizations, many of which are in the room today. You will hear more about the phenomenal work and all that they have done for our prize, our world, is our prize recipient, our One Acre Fund, and I also do want to thank the staff for making this possible today. Sister Joyce Meyer is the chair of the prize committee, and you just saw Maggie, who actually has put her heart and soul into this today. And the whole staff, the jurors, the laureates, and everyone who's here to support us. Thank you for coming. And this year's theme, Roots of Resilience, we're going to have Peter Laugharn, our CEO, unpack that throughout the course of today. So we hope that you enjoy the discussions, the poets, the artists that will be joining us today on stage. But now I'd like to introduce a new and wonderful new friend who knows this venue very well. I'm speaking of Jessie Kornberg. She is the president and CEO of the Skirball Cultural Center. Jessie brings decades of civil rights work here to her role, and she is committed to the Skirball's mission, which you're going to hear about in just a second. Guests, please join me in welcoming to the stage Jessie Kornberg.
Welcome. I am Jessie Kornberg, the President and CEO here at the Skirball Cultural Center, and it is truly my honor and privilege to welcome you here and share with you a little bit about why today's event means so much to us. For those who don't know, we opened our doors at the very same time as the Hilton Humanitarian Prize. 1996, the Skirball welcomed the public for the first time. We are the product of the vision of Dr. Uri Herscher, a very, very close survivor of the Holocaust who escaped the clutches of German Nazi occupation, was born in Israel in 1939, and immigrated here to the United States, where he experienced extraordinary welcome, peace, and joy. The product of that childhood was his imagining a place, one good place for everyone. And that vision today is the Skirball Cultural Center. One good place for everyone. He worked for a decade with our architect, Moshe Safdie, who designed that vision into this room and the others on our 15 acres here. Moshe Safdie calls this his belonging building. And so you can imagine for us what a privilege and honor it is to have you here today to celebrate and champion humanitarian work. Our mission is to welcome the stranger and to use cultural experiences to help create a sense of shared humanity. I often say we humanize that which has been objectified. And so I would say to you all day long today, you're just making my job really easy because you're doing it by being here and celebrating this great work and applauding these incredible organizations and supporting the Hilton Humanitarian Prize. So thanks. We are a place of gathering and celebration, of art and performance, and there is a museum. It's just down the hall that way. We have 3 brand new exhibitions that have just opened this week, and the Hilton Foundation has arranged for each of you to have free admission to the museum following today's programs. And so if any of you would like to see this light of ours, the 150 archival photographs from the 9 student volunteers with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in Alabama and Mississippi from 1960 to 1968. Those photos are waiting for you down the hall. If you would like to see Reclaimed, a family portrait, a single Baroque painting stolen from a Jewish family in Czechoslovakia, and 80 years later, finally on public view again for the first time on the wall down the hall. Or if you would like to see Yinka Shonebare's beautiful conceptual art piece celebrating immigration experience, it's called The American Library. Those 3 exhibitions are all free for you at the end of the day today. As I say, we are thrilled to welcome you, and I will finish my welcome with the best of all, a welcome for President and Chief Executive Officer of the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation, Peter Laugharn. We are thrilled to have him. For those of you who don't know Peter's work well, he is a veteran of 25 years of advocacy and leadership of nonprofits working to improve the lives of vulnerable children. From the Firelight Foundation to the Van Lee Foundation to more than a decade of service at Save the Children. Peter's work is characterized in each and every instance by passion and purpose, and it is my incredible pleasure to welcome him to the stage now. Thank you, Peter. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Jessie. And thank you to the Skirball Cultural Center for so warmly welcoming us here on such an important day. And I'd like to say thank you to all of you here as people who care about making the world a better place. We hope this day is an uplifting one for you and gives you energy to do your work in the world. Thank you to Maggie Miller and her team for making today possible, the prize department. Now, this morning, you're going to hear from wonderful speakers as we prepare to hear from dozens of deeply impressive speakers, poets, etc. We also want to take a moment to stop and acknowledge the horrifying acts of violence going on in our world, in the Middle East and elsewhere, that have occurred in the past few weeks. This violence has resulted in the loss of thousands of innocent lives, including many children and many youth. As a humanitarian organization, we condemn such acts in the strongest possible terms. And we redouble our resolve to work toward a world where all people can live free of the fear of violence. We recognize this is a time of heightened emotions, anger, loss, grief, confusion, for many people around the world, including people in this room. But today, let us lock arms to hold space for these emotions and for each other. Our world is full of remarkable goodness and light, and yet, at times, it is also beset by destruction and darkness. As we convene today, we have the opportunity to bring more light into the darkness. We can engage in constructive and contemplative conversations around some of the most pressing issues affecting humanity around the globe, including hunger and climate change. In our own small way, we can help repair some of what is broken in our world. We don't and we won't have all the answers, but we can share, we can listen, and we can learn. We can discover and discuss new ideas, approaches, and innovations that can better equip us not only to confront these urgent challenges, but also ultimately to overcome them. We can share hope. Nearly 80 years ago, in 1944, Conrad N. Hilton, who established the Hilton Hotels, founded the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation with the purpose of using his resources to help alleviate suffering and improve the human condition. The foundation's first grant in 1945 was $100. And today, the foundation has over 160 employees and will provide nearly $300 million in grants this year to organizations that are making deep and meaningful impact in the world. The theme of today's gathering, as you see, is the roots of resilience, which I saw manifested brilliantly on the ground in Rwanda this summer when I had the opportunity to visit this year's prize recipient, One Acre Fund, and some of the remarkable smallholder farmers and their families whom they support. It is my hope that by honoring One Acre Fund today, we can share with the international community the inspiring accomplishments of this extraordinary organization and apply to our own work, our own communities, some of the innovative approaches they have modeled so well for us all. But before we get to that, we have a lineup of speakers, poets, and artists who will all be looking at this theme from very specific vantage points: hunger, climate change, effective approaches to difficult global problems, and the list goes on. The person who will ensure that we get to all of this, and with lots of energy, is the one who I now have the pleasure of introducing. It's my great honor to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Soledad O'Brien. Soledad is an award-winning documentarian, journalist, speaker, author, and philanthropist who founded Soledad O'Brien Productions, a multi-platform media production company dedicated to telling empowering and authentic stories on a range of social issues. With her husband, she is the founder of the Powerful Foundation that helps young women get to and through college. Soledad is going to lead us through the day with her energy, her warmth, and her wisdom. With that, please join me in welcoming to the stage Ms. Soledad O'Brien.
Thank you, Peter, and good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. As a journalist, easy for me to say, over the last 35 years, I have had the opportunity to cover humanitarian disasters around the globe. Hurricane Katrina, the Haiti earthquake, the Southeast Asian tsunami, the tsunami in Japan, stories about war and hunger and homelessness and uprooting. These are hard stories, but my gratitude has always lay in being able to tell the stories of resilience and success, of people who, in spite of long odds, find a way, or maybe more accurately, make a way. I have loved celebrating and deconstructing just what makes those successful organizations and people work. So I am truly thrilled to be here. I've said for the last few years now that the number and severity of humanitarian crises are growing globally. In a report by the International Rescue Committee, an organization that received the Hilton Humanitarian Prize back in 1997, it was reported that humanitarian issues are spiraling and predicted that this year nearly 340 million people will require humanitarian aid. It is clear that we must build our future together in a way that addresses these truly massive numbers of human beings who find themselves straddling multiple crises, whether it's war or extreme hunger or being born into a failed state. And that's why a moment like this, where we can bring together inspirational leaders who are working directly on these issues, is so important. The Hilton Humanitarian Prize was started in 1996 as a tribute to Conrad N. Hilton's lifetime of international humanitarian efforts, and is presented to a nonprofit organization judged to have made exemplary and extraordinary contributions toward alleviating human suffering. At $2.5 million, the Hilton Humanitarian Prize is the world's largest annual humanitarian award. Today, we will hear directly from the 2023 Hilton Humanitarian Prize recipient, One Acre Fund, an organization founded as a pilot training of 40 farmers back in 2006, and now reaches a network of 4 million farm families across 9 countries through its direct service programs and partnerships. One Acre Fund provides the funding, the tools, and the training to help farmers increase yields and profits, grow their way out of hunger, and create thriving economies. This work is more critical than ever as Africa's vulnerable smallholder families bear the brunt of mounting global crises of food insecurity and poverty and climate change.